Today we're going to make an easy and fun little floral journal. Welcome, this is Barbara from Vienna, Austria. I will be using items from Your Creative Studio vintage subscription boxes from April and May. But don't worry, you can surely find inspiration here even if you're using different items. But if you're interested in these kind of boxes, you can find the link in the description box below. Because of the pandemic and postal services being very delayed at the moment, I recently received both of these boxes at the same time, and since I'm very behind showing these and there have been lots of videos from other creators showing unboxings of these already, I thought I would just quickly show you the items so that you know what I'll be working with. I'm starting out using only these beautiful floral items from the April box that you see me showing you right here. So this is the floral sticker sheet that Amanda always creates for the box. And here we have some cute floral images on some transparent papers. Here's some washi stickers with various muted tones. These are some real dried flowers. I can't believe that these are in here. These are just amazing. This here might be my favorite piece. I always love these pads when Amanda includes these. So you can tear these off. They're perforated in the middle. Love, love, love this neutral design. And we have two sets of travel themed post-its. I honestly never really know what to do with these, so I will actually not be using any of these today. And lastly, Amanda always includes beautiful papers, and this time there were these beautiful, looks like handmade papers in here, just absolutely gorgeous. I will show you the items of the other box later, but first I wanted to start off by making the papers for the little journal that we're going to make. So all I'm doing is I am folding all of these beautiful papers. And I'm just going to be making one signature. And I thought this would just be like a cute little journal, very easy going, because I just, if you've seen maybe my steampunk journal, that was, I loved it so much, but it was so much work. So I was really longing to do something just very quick and easy. And this was just perfect for this project. And I also picked out some other papers that I had from the Sora Aksan bento stationery box, I think it's called. I had gotten this a while ago, sometime last year. I will link that video down below if you care to see the unboxing. But these are some of the papers in that box. And that's just an amazing box as well. That was a once in a lifetime splurge. And so here I'm just adjusting the width of that paper. I didn't want everything to be the same size, but I didn't want it to be too wide either. And this one that you see with the Asian script there was a gift from Irit, whom I've done some collaborations with in the past, Irit Landgraf. She has a very cool channel with lots of watercoloring and art journaling. So now I'm just organizing the papers in the sequence that I thought would work best. Now I think that's thick enough. The papers work well together. As you can see, I'm not really going for a very vintage look today. And also in the Sora Aksan box was this beautiful paper bag, and I thought this would actually be cool as a cover. I've never done that before, so I wanted to try that out. and since it was too big, I just cut off the end to fit the size of my papers. And so then that would give me a pocket in the front and back covers. Here, one of the papers was too tall, so I just trimmed that a little bit, but the rest were all good. So next I had an idea which then didn't quite work the way I wanted it to. So I really wanted to use these beautiful dried flowers, and my first thought was to mount them on something and then stick it into that front pocket so that they peek through the front cover. So I decided to take 2 of these from this beautiful paper pad and glue them back to back to make it more sturdy. I just took my glue stick and glued them together. And then I had to adjust the height. Just checking if it slides in nicely, and that was perfect. So then I thought I would make like a little collage with these beautiful flowers. I definitely wanted to use this beautiful orange one because it was such a nice pop of color for a journal cover. And I also want to use these green leaves, but I soon noticed that, of course, they're dried flowers, so they are very, very delicate, and parts kept breaking off, especially of those leaves. So I thought this is not the best idea for a cover. But I really liked how it looked. And I added this green bit as well, and I really enjoyed that layout. So I thought, well, instead of using the original, I took a photo of it and printed it out. I printed it a little lighter so you can see there is a color difference there. The background especially is a lot lighter. And I thought, well, that way I don't have to worry about the flowers falling apart, and I would still have this arrangement of the flowers to peek through my little glassine bag. So I liked that a lot, and I thought I would add some of these cute butterflies. So I take 2 of these and I put one up there, and I'll take a blue one and place that there. And I thought that looked really cute. And for the back, I decided to use this stamp with my Victorian Velvet Distress ink, and kind of wanted to have that on the card so you could maybe put in a heading, because this was going to be like a journaling card basically. And then I'm taking my Tattered Rose Distress ink, and yes, I bought one of these blender brushes that everybody else seems to be using on YouTube. I just thought I would give it a try, and I must say, so this is my first time working with it, and I must say it takes getting used to if you're used to the round brushes from Tim Holtz, because they are very, very different, and I think they both have different ways to use them, because this makes a much softer edge, which is why I bought it. So here you can see, yeah, and I added this beautiful floral sticker. And then what I do in this little box, I have my cutouts from the freebie from Artie Mays, which I will link for you below as well. And it has these nice little labels with words on it. So I wanted to choose one for this journaling card. There were a lot of nice options, but I decided for this floral theme, and I'm using my tattered rose again. Yeah, I wanted to go over it to get rid of the stark whiteness. So that's what that looks like. So yeah, the Seek Stillness I thought works really well with this theme. And I did want to add a little bit of my avocado dyed cheesecloth underneath just to add another texture. And I'm using my art glitter glue to glue both of those pieces down. Still loving that glue. It's just great. So that's what that looks like. And now I'm just going to stick it in that pocket, and that's going to be my cover. Very easy. Just something different. And for the back side, I thought I would use those two pieces that I had glued together that didn't work out for the front. So it already had the perfect size to fit there. So I wanted to make a collage on that. So I take these very, very thin but very nice tag shaped pieces here. Some beautiful floral designs there. It was hard to choose one, but I like that one that I already had placed there. But I wanted to use it differently, so I decided to fussy cut that flower with my scissors. What else am I going to cut it with? And I also wanted to use this script here, which talks about spring flowers. So I decided to cut that out as well. And I'm edging it with the tattered rose. No, I'm not sure now whether this was the tattered rose or the Victorian velvet, to be honest. But you see here I'm using my brush, my sponge brush from Tim Holtz, because that did give me a more defined edge. So I guess it always depends what you want. Do you want a soft edge or not? So here I have a little box of my mini scraps, and I'm trying to make a collage with this. So I'm just getting rid of any white parts. And I really like that strip there with the holes that's left over from my steampunk journal. I find a little piece of cheesecloth, which is always great. Then a piece of crumpled up coffee dyed scrap. And once I glued everything down, this is what it looked like. And the back, I think I leave empty. And after I stick it in, I decided there's something else I need to add. So you see it peeking through there. You can take it out, journal on it, both the front and the back. So that was when I had the idea to add my beloved splashes, but not with my wild honey. I have this new one, which is called brushed corduroy, which is a kind of brown. And I had some difficulties with this, I gotta admit. Because this splashes always went in the wrong direction, and so after having hit that spot 3 times, it kind of just looked horrible in my eyes. But I pressed on. I made 2 more, so that one was perfect. I just wanted a partial one there, and on the left side I'm gonna make another partial one, which also didn't work at first because it sprayed on the wrong side, but then the second one was perfect. So love that, but really wasn't loving that bottom one. So I thought, okay, what do we do? How do we fix this? It's always the question, how do we fix our mishaps? And so I went to Amanda's washi stickers and tried to pick one out that would cover most of that splash or blob. So I'm trying a few different versions here, and I decided to go for this one. And I don't like, in my collages, I don't like it when these stickers have such a wide edge, so I cut that off, and I'm gonna edge it with my, I think it's Tattered Rose. And then I'm gonna stick it over that mess. I wasn't loving it, but but it was better than the original one, and I am going to give it another try and try to give it one more splatter, see if that would work better. So here we go again, just a partial splash. That didn't work too well. So one more time. There we go. That was good. So that was a good one. And after drying that, I slip it in my back cover, so front and back is good. Now for the inside, I also wanted to do a couple of collages. And I wanted to use this as my focal point. These are also perforated, and I wanted to cut out this ticket shape. And I decided to ink this with my tea dye. I didn't want to go as dark as Vintage Photo, but I also didn't want the pink. I wanted neutral tones. And now again, I'm just grabbing things from my mini scrap box. I actually think it's the most fun working with these small scraps. I'm really enjoying it. This here, by the way, is a sticker I took off some packaging that from like a box that I received when I was ordering some stuff, and I think I have 2 of those. I think they're awesome in collages. I don't want to throw those away, but it was a little bit too bright for this collage that I had in mind. Did find another piece of, I think that was cheesecloth there. And now here's another piece of wrinkled coffee dyed paper. That's also going to go underneath. I found this partial number. Yeah, that's a piece I didn't want to add because it had a red line in it, and I didn't want to introduce red to this collage. But I did find this print that looked like a wallpaper. I really loved that, so that was going to be a good one as a backdrop. And then I wanted to add this 10, which is a tiny piece left over from my little bingo card. So that's what everything looks like once it's glued down. I really like this collage, especially on this beautiful script background. And now I wanted to move over to the May box. So the theme for this is like vintage writing and scrolls and quills and all that. This is a washi that I really love. I'm usually not into these very thin washies, but this is a very cool one, and I will definitely be using that. This one I always have a hard time using, although it's kind of cool, but I have a few of these now. And these wax seal stickers, I must say they're also not really my cup of tea because they're just so shiny. So I don't know, when you put them on things, they look so fake, obviously. So unless I would like maybe sand them down a little bit or make them less shiny or something, I don't think I'll use them as they are. So there were some sticky notes. Here we have Amanda's sticker sheet. Here's some Post-its with some aged or burnt paper, which actually looks like toast. But great for collaging. And here's another one of those very cool paper pads. Again, we have two images on one, so it's perforated again in the middle. Great design, works with everything. Then we have these very cool stamps with scrolls and quills. There's a sand clock, sand watch, what do you call it? I don't know. An hourglass, that's what it's called. And then we have these beautiful papers. I really love these, and I'm definitely going to be using these in another project. It didn't really go with this floral themed journal, so you will see that in something else someday. And finally, Amanda included this beautiful pen quill as a little thank you. Look how beautiful this is. I think it's so fun. I have not used it yet, but I'm looking forward to trying this out with my inks. So my first idea was to use the big quill, or actually it's just a feather, I think. I'm not sure. Actually, I think it's a quill. And I wanted to stamp that on this gray Post-it with my black archival ink, and then to use that as my focal point for another collage. Stamps beautifully. Yeah, it's a quill. It actually has a tip there to write with. So I am going to fussy cut that. And I also inked it with some vintage photo. And now I'm looking for a page that I'm going to make my collage on, and I actually take the other side of this Asian paper because I love it so much. Now I'm taking a piece of that toast, which is really, really great for a background. So I decided to bravely just stick that down, even though I didn't know yet what the rest of the collage would look like. And from the stickers, I chose this scroll, but actually in the end you didn't really see it a lot because this was probably not the best background to use it on. It's probably meant more for a white background or a solid color anyway. So next I decided to glue that quill down. And then I wanted to add some of those weekdays. And then I wanted to use another one of these stickers. So this was a tiny wax seal. It's really very tiny, but it's cute anyway. And I felt it needed something else, so I went back to the floral washi stickers and was looking for one that would work, and I actually liked that one. So again, I fussy cut around it because the edges were just too wide for me. And I inked the edges with the vintage photo, and then I stuck it on my collage. And that's the finished piece. I'm very happy with that. And next I wanted to use one of these transparent floral pieces to make a little pocket. So I'm going through the different designs to see which one I want to use as a pocket. and I chose that one. Looking for a page here to add that to. And then I added a half circle with my little circle punch for the opening to make it easier to get whatever was going to be in there in and out. And I also inked up the edges to define them better with my vintage photo. And then I decided to take that to my sewing machine, and with a zigzag stitch with a white thread, I just stitched around the 3 edges, but you can of course also glue it down. And now I'm looking for another piece that I could add to this pocket, so I go back to these very thin floral tags. And I go for this square one with the round corners. And because they are so thin, I wanted to back it with some white paper. This is a 160 gram paper. And now I'm just going to cut around it with my scissors and also cut around the round corners. And then I inked it up with my vintage photo on both sides. And I wanted to cut out the April from this washi just to put it on the bottom there around the stem, because this is from the April box and this was supposed to be for spring. So I just kind of wanted to to make that noticeable, even though it's very small, but I know it's there. And for the back, I wanted to use one of these quills just to have something there to look at, so it's just not so blank if you're going to write on it. And now we can stick that into our little pocket. And I wanted to use another piece. It's also very cute. And this one I wanted to put on the inside front cover as a pocket. So I cut it. And now I'm inking again the sides with the vintage photo. And this time I'm going to just use my art glitter glue to glue down the left side and the bottom. And I'm just adding the other piece that I cut off from the washi tape. And again, I just think it's really cute. Can you tell? I really like that washi. Again, I'm going to be taking one of these papers from the paper pad, and I wanted to make a journal card out of it. So I had to first trim it down since it was too wide for my little pocket. So that took that to my trimmer, and I also inked around the front and the back edges. So I would just leave that like that so that I can have it to journal on. And then I also wanted to take the top portion of that pad and make a little label. So I again used my black archival ink and I stamped it right over the part where the flower was. And now I'm just going to cut around that, and that will just be a label to have and to put anywhere I want at a later time. The point of this journal was just to have a little pocket journal that I can have with me in my purse to jot down some things. But of course we journalers, we love to have pretty journals, so that's why I don't want to just take a plain paper pad. So here I'm taking the other label stamp that was in the box and I'm doing the same thing. And I really love the idea of stamping on a piece of paper that is not just one color, because look at that, that's really cute. I think actually that's upside down, but it doesn't matter. I think those are really cute, and I'll just keep them in there in case I want to stick them somewhere. And then I didn't want to leave the other pages blank, not all of them, and so I'm just going to go through it, and wherever I think it needs something cute, I will add a sticker. And first I'm using these stickers, and I love the fact that they're matte, even though these are not washi stickers, but they are still matte, and so that's great. For some of them I wanted to use these washi stickers. Those two went really well together, I think. And notice I'm not inking those up because I didn't want those to stand out from the page. I wanted them to blend into the page. And so then I also don't mind if they have a wider edge because you don't really see it because they blend so well into the page. Once I was done with that, it was time to assemble the book. So I first made sure that each page was exactly where I wanted it to be. Then I'm just clipping them together from both sides so that they won't move. And instead of a pamphlet stitch, I wanted to just run down the middle with my sewing machine because it wasn't such a big book. So there you see, I used my white thread again. I just sewed right down the middle, and this was so quick and easy. I really love how that turned out. So that's just another binding method if you don't have too many pages. And now that flap was bothering me, so I cut that off. And finally, I needed it to close up also. We're just going to stick all those things back in our front pocket. I needed it to close up because it was just opening on its own and I didn't want it to get messed up in my purse. So I chose one of these beautiful Avril yarn threads from, these are also from the Sarah Ahsan bento box. And I chose this beautiful white one, and I'm just wrapping it around twice, and then I'm going to make a bow, and that's our little journal. So thank you so much for hanging out with me today. If you would hit that like button, it would mean the world to me. Love you guys. Mwah, mwah.